Hello, I'm Claire Bicknell and welcome to our next Catena Cast. I'm here at the Nottinghamshire Hospice, one of our Catena members, and the idea of these Catena Casts is to get to meet the people behind the business. And the hospice is very much a different kind of business, and to me it challenges all the preconceptions that you may have about a hospice. I'm here in the craft room and you can see that there are lots of opportunities for activities for the patients to get involved with. It's a warm, bright, light, cheery room. I'm just about to go and meet with the Chief Executive, Rowena Naylor-Morrell, and we're going to find out what makes a hospice tick. Rowena, thank you so much for letting us come back and chat with you. We met a few weeks ago and I was really amazed by everything about the hospice here. It is so much more than a hospice. So I asked Rowena if we could come back and film this Catena Cast. And we're in this beautiful room, but this seems to be very warm and friendly and welcoming, which I'm guessing is part of your message.
It is indeed. The front of the house used to be a family home. And this room we're sitting in now was once the chapel, later a billiard room for the Player family, who were one of the biggest philanthropic families in Nottingham.
Is that John Player?
That's John Player. So there are obviously some negative connotations. Sure. And when I first came for my interview, I did have that feeling in my mind, the players gave this house to the hospice as a payback for the potential damage that will be done in the future. That was obviously rubbish. And
what you don't know, you know, with people didn't know how damaging smoking could be.
So it's a very great gift. So it was given to the county council and then on to ourselves. And we work very hard to make sure as people come in, they don't feel like a patient. They feel like the person they are. So they're somebody with a great life story, with lots of skills to share with other people who come here, but also people who need a type of support which we can offer here because of the care and compassion which the staff and our volunteers offer on a daily basis.
That was the thing that really struck me, because I have a perception, and this probably is very wrong, that people go into a hospice because they are coming to the end of their life, and that is the care that they would choose rather than being in hospital. But this is not that kind of place, because you're providing daycare, aren't you?
Yes, here at this hospice we're what you call a day hospice. So the services or the care that we offer here, people arrive in the morning and will go home in the evening after being supported through the day. And the support we offer is available both to the person, the patient, but also to their family. And what we believe, our philosophy here is that we can't change a diagnosis. If somebody's going to die, they've got that diagnosis.
However,
it's a very different journey from sitting at home waiting to die, struggling with your symptoms and seeing the person you are ebb away, to coming somewhere where we can support pain management, we can deal with symptom relief, we can do the technical stuff around breathlessness with the physiotherapies and the occupational therapies. We can provide some great social opportunities in terms of the people who come here all want to talk and all want to be together. And we can actually add life to every day that people have. And I know for myself, if I was on that journey, I wouldn't want to stop being Rowena Naylor-Morrell and become Rowena the patient. I want to live every day that I possibly could as well as I can.
It's almost people are coming to their club in a way then, isn't it? They're
coming somewhere where they can experience a different way of thinking about the rest of their life. And that goes for supporting families as well. Is that in terms of whether it's the emotional support provided by the counsellors or just ringing somebody up and talking through some of those dark thoughts you might have, we can support people through that journey and ensure that people are able to achieve something which I know a lot of colleagues find difficult to understand, is a good death.
Yeah.
And for me, a good death is being surrounded by the people who have cared for you, loved you, with the things that are important to you, and really feeling that your life has been lived to the full. And with our support, so we've talked about our work here, the big part or the majority of our work that we do is out in the community. So every night of the year, regardless of whether it's Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Day, whatever day of the year it is, we will have our hospice at home team out across every community, and I can say that with confidence, of Nottingham and Nottinghamshire, supporting people in their own home. And that will be palliative care delivered in your own home in a way that you want it, supporting you to have the type of death that you would like.
Yes, and I guess that is the difference between other hospices. So it isn't just day care, it is night care, it is a 24-hour care, but in the venues that you choose.
Yes, and I think that when you get to the difficulty is when you find yourself in that position, or your family find themselves in a position that somebody is going to die, you can be like a rabbit in headlights, and it can look very, very dark, not knowing who to turn to and how you're going to cope or how you're going to survive. But the hospice is there for you from that all the way through that journey. So a lot of our work is with people in the last weeks or months of life, but we are here from the day of your diagnosis. It may be a bit of advice. It may be just one night having one of our nurses come and provide hospice at home for you so the family can get a really good night's sleep to enable them to care the next day.
That can't be underestimated, can it?
Or it might be that you need us there 7 nights a week and you also need us there throughout the day. It's a completely flexible service.
You mentioned that you were there for people from initial diagnosis, because another thing that I was really surprised when we spoke earlier was that you help people who are still working but may have got a terminal illness.
Unfortunately, in this day and age, but also from a personal pride perspective or wanting to be me, a lot of people will choose to continue to work. They may face problems with their employer in terms of it can be quite scary when somebody says to you, I've got cancer and I'm probably going to die within the next year. You probably want to think as an employer, right, okay, I need to retire them on the basis of ill health or whatever. But with our support and by talking with the person, it is possible where people want to continue to work well into their diagnosis and thrive within the business.
Yes, because that will really contribute to self-worth, yes, won't it?
But for some families, there is no option. That if it's whoever it is, maybe the breadwinner, and that family cannot afford for that person to stop working. So it's then that whole way of supporting the family still to act as a family unit. And again, that's where the emotional support and counselling really comes into its own. But we've slipped slightly into quite a dark or some of the kind of traditional thought of hospices. But it really is about living well, and making the most of every day. So we've got people here today who are going out on a trip to Victoria Embankment to enjoy the beautiful weather that we've been having, and as Nottingham people, just to touch base with places where they went as a child and probably grew up. And it sticks in my mind. We had Christopher Biggins who came for a visit, it must be about 3 years ago, when he was in Panto, and we had a competition running, Rock Your Socks. It was an alternative to Christmas jumpers, and he came and judged the socks. And he was a bit dismayed, or his agent was certainly dismayed, when we asked him. We said, well, we'll have to go now. And he said, why? Where are you going? And the patient said, oh, we're just off to the pub for Christmas lunch. He couldn't believe, having seen how many people were in the room, how poorly, quite often we were able to facilitate just going up the road to a local pub to have a Christmas lunch, just like everybody else. But the difficulties for a family to make that happen would be considerable. So for us, it's about supporting and working with the patients in terms of what they want to do, rather than saying, right, you come in here, it's 10 o'clock, now you're going to have some exercise classes, then you're going to do a painting class. It really is about patients leading the way, and the same in the home. It's about the family and the patient deciding what's right for them.
We did stray into some dark areas there, but to come back onto some colour. Many people in Nottingham will have heard and have seen the hoodwinked tale. Tell us more about that, Rowena.
Hoodwinked has been like a bolt out of the blue for us. In terms of the surprise we've had, how successful it is there out on the streets at the moment. So Hoodwinked is a project where we are a partner with the City Council, Nottingham City Council, and an organisation called Wild in Art. And Wild in Art provides sculptures which are then decorated or painted by local artists and some famous artists, and then are put out on streets. Now, here in Nottingham, we've got our Hoodwink project, but they have done elephants, I think, in London, bears in Birmingham. And for us, being chosen as the charity partner has given us not only a much higher profile and opportunity to raise awareness, but has really helped us demonstrate that when you work with a charity, it's not about, oh, that's a good cause and they can't do anything. So there are 33 sculptures out on the street.
Yeah, I've seen the map here.
And I think nearly 25% of those we were able to bring in sponsors to support the sculptures. We're now into what we're calling phase 2, so the Hospice is leading the way. So we are able to support all of the social media work that's going on around it, the website, the PR and the comms, along with all of the partners that have been engaged. And then on the 13th and 12th, 13th and 14th of October, we'll be hosting the farewell event here, which I'll come on to later, and then the auction on the 18th at St Mary's Church. So yes, there is potentially a big pot of gold at the end of the rainbow for us with this project. When all the sculptures are auctioned off, the profit from that auction will come to the Hospice.
But for people walking around Nottingham and seeing the robins, whereabouts is you've got two, haven't you?
We've got, our heart is split in two. So as a partner in the project, we have one of our own, which is a bird in the hand, which is outside Pret a Manger and Marks and Sparks. And then one which we have a very fantastic corporate partner, ABSN, who sponsored a robin and said, we really would like the patients to be involved in its design, and funded the artists coming in and painting the sculpture. And that one, Hands of Hope, is parallel with the Brian Clough statue. Now there is a secret which we haven't actually shared very widely in the publicity about the sculptures. So if you download the app for the trail, yes, it will help you navigate your way around, but as you approach each sculpture you will see there is a QR code on them, and if you open the QR code there are rewards available. So if you open the QR code on Hands of Hope, it will give you a voucher which you can get 10% off at any of Nottinghamshire Hospice charity shops. They're the best charity shops on the high street. If you go and open the fantastic mosaic robin outside the station, which is supported by Castle Rock, click open that, you get a free pint. If you open the sensational Robo Robin, which is the Capital One sculpture with their QR code, you give £1. You donate £1 straight away to the Hospice. And I think when I looked at the figures today, about 1,200 people have done that.
Wow. So how much money have you benefited from that? £12,000?
So £1,200.
£1,200.
So 1,200. Wow. That's my goal. £12,000.
Yes. But that's amazing. Through
it is just
nothing.
by clicking. And there are a whole range of other rewards attached to different robins.
You mentioned that collaboration with businesses, and I know that there are a number of Catena members who have engaged with the hospice to help them, and it can be in many ways. I know that the Little Women fashion group donated some end-of-line lingerie to you, which is now in your retail outlets, which is great. And I'd like now to invite to join us Andy Middleton, who is the MD of Ginger Root Print, who have been immense in supporting.
They have been sensational. We started our journey with them when they designed the back of the bus, which another great corporate, Nottingham Transport, gave us the back of the bus for our Purple Week. And we were really struggling to think of somebody who could design this, and couldn't find anybody who was interested. Then through our colleagues in the office, they said Ginger Root.
Excellent.
And they came up with 2 amazing designs. I would have personally probably gone for the bright orange one, being quite a bright person, but the one that was actually on the back of the bus, which really captured the spirit of the hospice, was just totally brilliant. And then from there, they've just gone on and done more and more fantastic design work for us.
Brilliant.
And all those extra bits. I know Andy's going to tell you himself what he's done personally.
Let's get him in now.
A really great company.
Thank you so much for joining us here at Nottinghamshire Hospice. You, as a business, as Rowena has said, have been great in supporting them in the business environment, but you personally have done a lot in raising some funds for them, haven't you? What have you been doing?
I have indeed. I decided early this year to make a life change and get myself fit again.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought the best way I can do that is something I used to do quite a long time ago, which is run.
Okay.
So I entered myself into 4 half marathons.
Wow.
And basically, I think 2 months before the first one, decided that I would make a start and go for it. So I left it far too late to start training, and I did the first run, which I think was Market Harborough, and then the second one was Market Bosworth, and then I did a 10k obstacle course, which was an absolute nightmare. And I've just done the Newark half marathon.
Okay.
So, and the final one will be the Robin Hood half marathon at the end of September.
Oh, well, good luck for that.
Thank you.
Have we actually got evidence that you've completed these, though?
Well, I have my medals to date.
Oh, they always say, show us your medals.
Yeah, show us your medals. Here we go. So, unfortunately, no gold medals. So,
it doesn't. They're so overrated.
But yeah, there we go. There's
Perfect.
4 medals there.
It is like interviewing an Olympic athlete. So,
I
brilliant,
wish.
Brilliant. Congratulations on that. So Andy, you've done half marathons. Are you tempted by a full marathon?
No.
I don't blame you.
No.
But I did notice when I came in today that they have this great, lovely plasma screen with all the opportunities for fundraising in, and there was a skydive.
Okay.
Interested?
Yes, so I've done it before, and so therefore in my mind I ticked it off the list. But yes, I am interested in doing it again.
Excellent. Well, you've seen it here. I think this is where we start the sponsorship right now. So Andy, why did you choose the hospice as your charity of choice?
Yes, my grandma used to work in an organisation very similar to a hospice many years ago.
Okay.
But it was only through meeting a lady who worked for the hospice at a networking event that sort of reignited that memory for me.
Okay.
Of my grandma working for the hospice. So once we started to do work for them, I realised then it was a charity and we could raise money. So when I signed up for the 4 half marathons, it was my first choice.
Brilliant. So as part of Catena, you're a Catena member. This is a brilliant example of a collaboration. We've mentioned Little Women, and I'm looking to see where Catena can help the hospice as well. Is this something that you would recommend to other businesses? How easy is it to get involved with the hospice to help?
It's very easy. All you have to do is contact the hospice. The members of staff are lovely. Everyone's more than willing to help you achieve your goals. For me personally, it was about a life change this year and wanting to get back to my fitness roots. So once I decided I was going to run for the hospice, I mentioned it to the members of staff, and as I say, they were very, very helpful in helping me achieve my goals.
I've certainly found that they're very innovative in coming up with ideas to help and
Yes.
things like that. So yeah, definitely worth a chat with them. So we're going to leave it here with the hospice at the moment, but I rather suspect that we might be back for another visit because there is so much more to find out. But thank you, Nottinghamshire Hospice, for your time today.